SLOimage is a moving still image that's come to life, and we have created a digital art piece.
The starting point was to go, okay, well, what is going to be this first piece? And it seemed attractive to think of possibly the most painted painting in the Western canon, anyway, of all time, which arguably is the Nativity, or it certainly has got a number among the most painted of an image. And that image is a story, and the characters in that story are famously understood by all of us. This image, at any point that you ever see it, it'll probably never be the same. And yet it will not have been predefined, and therefore not repetitive at any level. I mean, it's a really simple level. You could say it's analogous to a shuffle mode on iTunes.
I think that's probably the key point here, is this idea that it's random generative and that potentially you might never see the same image twice, because that's what separates it from being a video clip or something like that, which you could pre-render using this sort of traditional post-production pipeline. The idea that this could go on infinitely and have so many different variations that you might actually never see the same thing happen meant it had to be done in software. There wasn't a simple post-production solution to it.
From the technical point of view, we've been involved from fairly close to the start of the project. I guess get an understanding of what the technical need was going to be for the project as soon as possible, and just sort of trying to understand that, and that really helped shape how the shoot went, because we had to sort of understand what the limitations were going to be. So when we were on set, those sort of rules had come out really from us, from the software, really, and they had to, because otherwise people would have just ended up on set kind of just shooting like a normal thing, and this had to be shot in a very specific way.
And action.
We decided to shoot the actual actors and the people on a green screen stage with a grounds there that would be then bedded into a digital matte painting that would be bedded into the architecture. This was shot on the Phantom Flex, which is a high-speed digital video camera which can shoot up to 5,000 frames a second. We mainly shot around 200 to 300 frames per second.
So where we started was trying to solve this particular problem, which was multi-layered HD video playback. And the initial route we explored with that was encoding the video sequence essentially as a sequence of PNG images, so losslessly compressed images. And there was also a lot of performance issues because it's HD video, it's a lot of HD video simultaneously. So that led us to looking at finding a solution which wasn't an out-the-box solution, but involved researching ways we could encode the video ourselves.
All of these clips were then given the same start and end frame, so then they could be played in any order. So now we're multiplying 40 to 50 to 60 maybe clips of the human elements with all of the background elements. And I think at our last calculation we were sitting somewhere around about close to 350,000 variations, and that will probably get closer to more like 500,000. So the theory is that this could play for well over kind of 3 to 4 months without ever seeing the same repetition.
It's been a case of working very, very closely with the guys who are actually doing all the post, and it's a phenomenal amount of post on all of the footage we shot, because the software places quite exacting requirements on the nature of that footage. For example, it's heavily reliant on creating pieces of footage which loop back to themselves or have very consistent start and end points, which obviously couldn't be shot absolutely perfectly, so that's had to be all sorted out. So the output we get from Flame is really a series of quite disparate elements, because it is the software which will ultimately pull this all together. So they have done a number of tests in Flame of compositions, but ultimately I think we will never know what it's going to look like until it's in the software and it's in front of you.
Yeah.